Hello there. I want to talk about supplements, and people sometimes ask me, w- sometimes maybe think, why am I against supplements so much, or why do I not recommend that people take supplements, as a kind of insurance policy for their health or whatever. And there's this trend or this long-term idea of like take your vitamins, like this is a healthy thing. And even in the raw food world, there's a lot of people that get caught up in this idea of taking supplements, whether it's supplements or whether it's herbs. They think there's some product like that they should take outside of their food to get their nutrition. There's also green powders, grass powders, and different things like that. And why I'm so against that is that it promotes and fosters an idea that I think is completely wrong and completely not helpful, which is that the food that is available to us is somehow lacking and deficient. And a lot of people have that mindset. And a lot of people send me messages and get in touch with me and debate me on this or have their own opinion on it. And I think that what these people don't understand is that the information that they have, the information they've taken in that they believe to be true, is stories, marketing, and myths from the supplement industry. And a lot of people are very trusting, obviously, of things that they've learned and assume that it comes from a good place. And it simply comes from a place of marketing, of sales, of how to sell a product. And I've tried to explain that supplements are a great product for someone looking to make a profit. And that's why they are sold. They work as a product. The whole concept of them works as a product. How they can be stored and shipped and they're lightweight, that all helps them work as a product. And fruit and vegetables are a difficult product, as are many different food items. They're a difficult product. And very few people can make any money selling food. You know, there's maybe the person that owns the shop, maybe the farmer, maybe the people in between, but you can't start a YouTube channel and sell bananas. You can't do that. And if we could, that would be pretty cool. Like every raw vegan would be selling fruit. They would sell their own fruit, and that would be great. But you can't do it like that. It's just it's not something. Basically, in business, there's only a certain few ways to go to make any kind of profit, which is essential, by the way, in case you're wondering, well, why do they have to make a profit? Like it's essential. So one of the ways is huge volume, and that's basically the food industry, huge volume. So mass, big distributors dealing with lots of farmers, dealing with huge supermarkets, dealing with millions of customers every day. And you're taking a little bit off each of these customers, like a tiny sliver, really, the supermarkets. And it's enough for them to keep that business going and growing and serving the customers. But it's pretty razor sharp, very competitive, lots of different supermarkets, just like there's lots of different farmers, distributors, and all that. So you have to be pretty big to be able to sell, fresh food. Now, can you set up your local grocery store? Yeah, but they're kind of diminishing now. But you could and go to your local wholesaler and you can, yeah. But you're selling generally a bit of a higher price. It's not necessarily better quality. Supermarkets do tend to get a lot of the better quality stuff. So you'd have to find your own gap there. You could do it, but it's not going to be easy. And you got a lot of whatever business rates, all the stuff to have a shop open, rent, and all these things. You can't just start a YouTube channel and promote people to fruit that you're selling. This is what I'm trying to explain. But you can start a YouTube channel and promote people to supplements you're selling or herbs. Now, you still need a lot of people going and buy them, but people will often maybe buy them over and over because they start to think this is something they need all the time. They buy it all the time. It's a product that you can literally hold anywhere for a long period of time. You don't need special heating. You don't need special lighting. You don't need any special conditions. You just buy a whole bunch of supplements, get a label put on them, and set them somewhere, and then you could send them out to people. But that's not what most people do. They'll probably work with a company or something, or have a link or whatever. Now, it still needs to be pretty smart to be able to do that. But you can have a smaller scale supplement company and make some kind of a living from it. And there's lots of people that do that. There's lots of people that have been independently selling supplements in different ways. So there's an opportunity there for people in a way that there's not such an opportunity if you want to sell bananas. So it's a product that works very well for bringing in money if you're doing some kind of alternative health business. And you'll see that many gyms will have some kind of supplement that they're selling. Maybe health and wellness places or therapists or alternative doctors and stuff, they'll have different supplements that they're selling. It's part of their business model, right? And in that sense, it's fine. But in terms of you're actually looking for truth about that, you have to see through that and look into the history of this stuff and understand where these stories and ideas come from. The fact that the story works on you and works on really smart people who really should know better is a sign of how powerful it is. And the story of supplements to sell supplements is you can no longer trust your food supply. The farmers are using all sorts of unnatural stuff. The soil's becoming depleted. There's no nutrients. There's no nutrients in it. It doesn't taste as good as it used to in the past. Remember back in the past when you used to eat all that fruit? Remember that? Oh, you didn't, but let's pretend. And you love that part of the story because you like to pretend you were eating all this fruit as a child or whatever. Yeah, but back in the past, by the way, they were saying this story in the past too, just in case you're not clear on that. So, in the past, there was great soil, everything was natural. It's all been destroyed by humanity. The soil's depleted. The farmers are putting chemicals in everything. The supermarkets don't care. They only care about profit. The governments don't care. They're not checking anything. Everything's falling apart. And all the food in the supermarkets is just lifeless and plastic looking and tasteless, and there's no nutrients in it. So you can't rely on that. You have to rely on supplements. And the supplements, by some miracle, the food that creates supplements are being grown by special farmers with special land, with special soil. And people are telling you this and you're like, how can you believe that? How can you believe that story? But they do believe it. And you say, but you must know that's not true. Come on. No, they do believe it's true. You must realize though, there's no evidence for that story whatsoever. They believe there's evidence. They've never checked, but they believe it. The story is just emotional. It's just an emotional story that taps into people that are anti-government, people that are distrustful, people that are all about nature, against humanity, that think the modern system's so terrible, even though this is like the easiest, nicest, most peaceful time to live ever. So that story taps into people, taps into certain things. But if you're a truth seeker, you have to see every story and say, that feels good. Let's check it out. I want that to be true. Let's check it out. And when you check out the story, there is no evidence for the soil being depleted, the food being diminished in nutrients, nutritional deficiencies being widespread, which is the other claim of supplements, that the other third wheel of supplements being so effective is it's not your fault. It's the farmers, the government, the supermarkets, everyone coming out against you. What chance have you got providing you with diminished food, and that's why you're sick? So instead of people saying, my food choices are leading me to being unhealthy, they're saying, this story is allowing them to go, oh, it's not my fault after all. I knew it. I knew it deep down. It's the I don't know. It's that desire to relinquish responsibility or whatever. Like we don't, and it would be great if you learned that. Wouldn't it be great if you learned, oh, all I need to do is take these supplements. And so the other aspect of the supplements is the idea that all I need is to take that and magically everything will improve. Pains will go away. My huge appetite will go away. I'll eat less and I'll start to get thinner. My energy will come back and I'll be able to exercise again. That's why I've not been exercising. My skin will improve, everything. And it's just that thing of, well, even if it might work, you might as well try it. That's the appeal of a supplement. Even if it might just work. If it might just work, then it's worth trying. You know? So all of these things come together powerfully, psychologically, and make it almost impossible for a person not to, at some point, consider taking a supplement, a vitamin or something. And it's kind of the same thing with pharmaceutical drugs. It's kind of this, there's a lot of the same stuff going on there. There are certain companies and business people that have played a big part in supplements continuing to be legal to be sold. The only reason supplements are legally sold, and anyone virtually can legally sell supplements, is they are seen as a food product. They're seen as a food product. They're not a medicine. They're not a medicinal. They're not classed as that. They're seen as a food product. However, as a food product, people pay for them like it's a medicine. And that's one of the key elements of supplements as a business. We want people to believe it's medicinal, but we want the government to treat it like it's a simple food product. We want the regulations to allow us to keep selling it, to make claims, to borderline on making health claims. We want people to believe there are health claims, but we don't want the regulation as if it's a medicine. Because that would destroy the supplement business. So why is it the case that the supplement business is not regulated as strongly perhaps as it should be? Because it's a huge business. Like, there's a lot of supplements being sold. And the reason that it's not is because of the lobbying of various businesses. And one of them most interestingly, or one class of company most interestingly, kind of cold in here, are companies like Amway. Amway is the world's biggest network marketing company. Network marketing or direct selling is a slightly controversial type of business, which some people call a pyramid scheme, whether rightly or wrongly. A pyramid scheme is one of the illegal types of business setup, essentially, where someone's created a business that is bound to collapse and is designed to purely funnel money towards kind of initial investors. So there's pyramid schemes, there's Ponzi schemes. There's a few other types of things. Pump and dumps in stock in stock market and stuff. So the things like that, these are all illegal activities. And versions of these have probably always been going because they tap, once again, it's about tapping into something in human beings. And with these things, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, it's kind of the greed that it taps into, the idea that maybe I can do just a small amount of work or just a small investment or whatever and get huge returns. And and then the concept of the pyramid scheme is that a person buys into the pyramid, to the scheme, to give them the right to sell memberships to the scheme. And it creates it creates very quick momentum and growth, or it can create very quick momentum and growth, and companies building very quickly, but also falling away very quickly. So very unstable. But Amway and the many other network marketing companies have lasted long periods of time. So whether they're a pyramid scheme, it's not illegally. Legally, they're not, because they're still around. At the same time, Herbalife was the last one that really got attacked. Well, a lot of them are getting attacked, but Herbalife was attacked. I don't know, none of this is probably of interest to you, but Herbalife is another huge one. International, huge. And they're another supplement seller. Herbalife and Amway. Herbalife is maybe more of a weight loss, but it's still a kind of weight loss supplement. So Herbalife was attacked by a guy called Bill Ackman, who was an investor, Wall Street guy, short seller. He wanted to take Herbalife down. He believed it was a pyramid scheme. He created a whole presentation showing the evidence around that, and nothing really happened. So these companies, whether they are, whether they aren't, they've managed to dodge around that, and they're very strong. They've had a lot of influence. They've done a lot of lobbying. And these companies, especially Amway and others, fought for the right to be able to sell supplements. You can look at presentations by the founder of Amway, a guy called Rich DeVos, and he talks about how they would be selling supplements when they started off, and they had to get around the objections that people had. He talks about how they invented, essentially, these answers to objections that people had. Well, I just get my nutrition from food. Oh, you can't get your nutrition from food. What are you? No. They had to invent these stories that people now take as if it's scientific fact. It was invented by marketing people round a desk, talking to each other, saying, our salespeople are saying, everyone's saying, well, their doctor's telling them not to buy it. So why they're struggling here? How can we get around that? How can we get around people saying the doctors? Because the evidence, scientific evidence, there's no evidence for people to take supplements. There's no evidence of any benefit to it. There's no evidence of any health benefit to it whatsoever. There's no evidence of it fending off deficiencies. Not really any evidence of deficiencies occurring commonly. So it's not really a big worry. So the doctors would be like, no, you're perfectly healthy, you don't have any problems. Why would you, not perfectly healthy, but you don't have any dietary deficiencies. Why would you be taking this stuff? And the doctor would maybe be concerned because they're like, how much are they spending on this stuff? They don't need to be doing that. So the doctors would have been like, no, you don't have to do that. And the farmers, if they knew any farmers, they'd be like, no, the soil's fine, everything's, So they had to invent these stories, and these stories were pushed out into the world by marketing people and by companies like Amway and by the Herbalifes of the world, to the point that it becomes like a meme that everyone just believes. Well, you can't trust the food supply anymore. The farmers and the government and all that, and the soil's all diminished and everything. So it's just like people just believe that now. Gospel. This was invented and perpetrated, and then these companies continually fought for the right to be able to firstly stay in business, but also to be able to sell supplements. So they and other companies have played a big role in keeping supplements a legal business that they can continue to participate in, and then continue to give backhanders to politicians, which is what they've been involved in quite a lot. Which is it's like what a lot of corporations do. And hey, even the fruit companies, the banana companies and stuff, like they there was wars fought over the uh, banana republics and all that. So what this all leads to is my position that when you hear these stories, it's just stories, it's just marketing. It's your health issue is not dietary deficiency. Somehow you're believing it is. Somehow people are believing it is. That's not your. That ain't something to worry about. What you need to worry about is actually dietary excess, which leads to obesity and being overweight. Like, that's a big worry. And the dietary excess of protein and excess fat. And ironically, people think they're not getting enough fat, not getting enough healthy fats or healthy proteins or whatever. So they eat way too much. And those things are more damaging because they lead to heart disease and cancer, the main things that kill people and diminish their health. The other things can be autoimmune conditions, which are often affected by protein or often caused by animal proteins or linked to, and milk. Digestive problems, which are just caused by not eating the right diet as well. Degenerative old age problems, which are a lot of them are probably connected with diet as well. Some of these things can be reversed by diet, some of them can't. So, and metabolic diseases, which are blood pressure, diabetes, all the same stuff, all diet related. And it's all about an excess of saturated fat, protein, a lack of fiber, lack of antioxidants, lack of fruit. It's the same thing. It's the same equation. Too much fat, too much protein, too much animal products. But really, any animal products is too much. You need to get it out. It's the simple thing. And once you've done that, move on. Yeah, if you can go raw, which I think. I think that's for people who want to experience the excellence of nutrition. Going raw, excellence of health. I think once you're on that path, you want to do it. You're like, why would I go second best? But many people can do plant-based and do quite well like that. But why would you go plant-based and then take loads of supplements and stuff? Like, there's no point. No point. I'm a skeptic of B12 and vitamin D, personally. But those are your own choice, really. Those are things that you can look into. And there's quite a lot of vegans and conventional diet eaters have take some of these things. It's your own choice. Vegans are often suggested to take B12. I don't tell you not to do it. That's your own choice, really. I've never supplemented B12. It's my own personal experiment. It's not something I'm telling you should definitely do it, but I think the vegan doctors are probably wrong on that one. It's just another story, probably. To me, it's probably just another story. So that's one of my overall positions on thing. But what's interesting is to look into see how business has affected how people think, because effective marketing stories are able to really get out there. There's not always a great appetite or desire for the truth. There's an appetite for what's expedient, for what works for me, for what sounds good for me, for what matches with my own personal stuff. You know, there's a lot of that. So consider that, think about it, put a comment below. Feel free to look into Amway and companies going before that. Neutralite, there's a company called Neutralite, NutriBio. These goes way back. Goes way back. So thank you for watching.